course, I remember those remarks. Those remarks have left scars on my soul, and it's really hard to heal them. So those remarks had two different extremes. The first extreme was I heard people saying, oh, she's too pretty to be in the wheelchair. And the other extreme was, oh, she must have done something wrong, and that's her punishment. That's why she ended up in the wheelchair for the rest of her life. And those were really painful remarks. Even now, when people ask me that when we look at someone who is differently abled, what should we say? How are we supposed to talk to them? And I always tell them, why is it important to say something all the time? Can we just don't stare at them? Can we just look at them and smile and move on? I think that's the best way to do it. Let's practice silence more. Because when we speak, we probably don't think. And I have made peace with the fact that most of the people don't think before they speak. So yes, those remarks were hurtful. They still are. But in the last 12 years, I've learned to be more patient and more forgiving. I think it's not about dealing with the negative comments. It's about dealing with negativity in general. And the best way to deal with negativity is to avoid it or ignore it. I know it's not easy sometimes. I know it hurts you. But thinking of those who are giving those negative comments, I really pray for them, because probably they couldn't achieve what they wanted to. And when they see you growing and thriving in life, it creates more negativity and bitterness in them. That's why I say pray for those who see their failure in your success. It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of energy to hate someone. And those who hate people are already living a miserable life. So, we all should pray for them and should move on. It's a huge responsibility. Titles like she's inspirational or she's the Iron Lady, sometimes these titles weigh you down. I always say that just because whatever I'm left with, if I'm managing to carry it with grace, does not mean it's not heavy. It is heavy. Life happens every day. There are so many highs and as many lows, and sometimes we are not our 110%. But also, when people look at me and they call me an inspiration, it's really, really overwhelming. It's also humbling, and I really feel blessed. But at the same time, it's really scary. I've never claimed to be strong all the time. I'm one of those few people who have always acknowledged vulnerability. Because when we are vulnerable, we are humans. There are days when I don't feel like getting up in the morning. There are days when I don't feel like sitting in the wheelchair and face the world. But then what I do is I make sure that I don't sulk in that negativity. You see, we're humans, and there are days when we fall, when we break, when we fail. And then there are days when we rise, when we heal ourselves, and then we try again and again and again, and we try not to give up. And all this journey, all that process of falling and getting back up defines our journey and defines who we are. I think if we truly claim to be humans, there are three things that we all must have in us. Those qualities are kindness, generosity, and honesty. If you have these three things, these qualities make you a good human being. And these are the qualities that I really, really admire in people. Betrayal itself is very painful. And when people hide their betrayal, that hurts even more. But if you have experienced betrayal in life, we all have. All I would like to say is that look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself that you certainly deserve better. So just straighten your crown and move on. Absolutely nothing. I mean, whatever I've been through, whatever I've experienced, all the mistakes that I've made, all the adventures that I've experienced in my life have shaped me into this person that I am today. And I'm so blessed, and I'm I feel really, really honored to have lived that life, a life full of trials, turmoils, pain, betrayals, success, failure, and it has shaped me probably into the best version of me. So it's a blessing, and I wouldn't want to change even a single thing about my life. It might sound cliche, but the best way to stay positive and to be contented is the attitude of gratitude. That's the key. I read this beautiful quote somewhere which says that I've never seen a bitter person who is grateful and a grateful person who is bitter. So be grateful. I know there are times when you don't feel like being grateful. There are times when you want to question why, where, when, how. But there is always, always something to be grateful for. I have lost so much in life, but what I have gained so far is way beyond what I have lost. So every time when I think of what I have, I'm more grateful, I'm more contented, and I'm more happy. So if you really want to be happy and if you want to live a fulfilled life, make sure that your heart